Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. An ex-policeman has killed at least 38 people, most of them children, in a gun and knife attack at a childcare centre in northeast Thailand. These images have been blurred due to their graphic nature. Police say the attacker shot and stabbed his victims before fleeing the scene. He then killed himself and his family after a manhunt. The 34-year-old perpetrator had attended a court hearing on drugs charges prior to the attack. Children and adults are among the casualties at the nursery. A teacher who survived the attack told Thailand's Thailand TV the gunman used to drop off his children at the nursery and had seemed polite. A motive for the attack remains unclear. At least 17 people have died and another 15 are missing after a migrant boat sank off the Greek island of Lesbos on Wednesday night. In dramatic footage, a group of people were seen trapped beneath a cliff as rescuers pulled them to safety. The Greek Coast Guard said the dinghy had left the Turkish coast carrying 40 people in very high winds. Volunteers joined rescue officials at the top of the cliff face on an island off the Peloponnese region of southern Greece.
I think this is a time to really cooperate much more substantially in order to avoid these types of incidents of occurring in the future and to completely eradicate the smugglers who prey upon innocent people, desperate people who try to reach the European continent in vessels which are clearly not seaworthy.
The leaders of 44 European countries are having talks in Prague in the Czech Republic at a historic first meeting of a new political club of nations. The European Union and its neighbours from Britain to Turkey met on Thursday to discuss shared security and energy problems stemming from Moscow's invasion of Ukraine in a rare and symbolic summit of 44 European countries, but not including Russia. The war in Ukraine is the main topic at the meeting.
We understand it is tough to face evil, but we also understand that truth does win. It can take time, but in the end, we all know in our hearts that Ukraine will win, because the truth is on their side.
Ethiopia's government has accepted an invitation by the African Union to participate in peace talks with rival Tigray forces. If held, the talks would be the first formal negotiations between the two sides since the outbreak of war in November 2020. Both sides had previously said they were prepared to participate in AU-mediated talks, but intense fighting has continued to rage across Tigray. Tigray's forces have yet to respond to the invitation for talks this weekend in South Africa. A protester outside a court in Santiago de Compostela has punched one of the accused in the back after the first session of the trial over one of Spain's worst train disasters. TV footage showed a man making his way through a media scrum and police escorts and hitting Andres Cortatibart, the former head of traffic safety of ADIF, the national rail infrastructure operator. Cortabitart and the train driver, Francisco Garzon, are on trial over their role in the train crash that killed 80 people and injured 145 in the summer of 2013. An investigation showed the train was travelling at speeds of 179 kilometres per hour on a stretch with an 80 km/h speed limit when it went off the rails. And finally, French writer Annie Ernaux has won the Nobel Prize in Literature for what the panel said was an uncompromising 50-year body of work.
For the courage and clinical acuity with which she uncovers the roots, estrangement.
The prestigious accolade is awarded by the Swedish Academy and is worth 10 million Swedish kronor, or £807,000. Her books include A Man's Place and A Woman's Story. When questioned by reporters outside her home, she said it was a great honour and that she was very happy and proud. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.